1957, that's when our first sister city in San Francisco was established. Then Mayor George Christopher and President Dwight Eisenhower, coming after the peace treaty with Japan, ending de facto World War II, San Francisco and Osaka, Japan became the first sister city between our respective countries. Today, this week, we announced our 17th sister city, building on Bangalore, which was our 16th, which we announced a few months back. We're proud to have now Amman, Jordan, as a 17th sister city with the city and county of San Francisco. We were pleased to have a delegation from Amman here at City Hall. Mayor Mani from Amman took the time to come out to San Francisco to sign this twinning relationship. And again, it builds on this legacy and success that goes back now half a century in San Francisco that really, I think, marks the spirit of our city, a city that's not just looking for inspiration internally, but also looking for inspiration around the globe, celebrating all our unique and interesting differences, but at the end of the day, uniting around the things that bind us together, our common humanity. And truly that was alive and well this week at City Hall with the celebration and the signing of our 17th sister city with Amman. This week was also an important week in terms of signing off on a collective effort that goes back now almost 2 months with our public employees unions, this PEC, where we agreed to roughly $200 million in wage concessions over the next 2 years. Our public employees stepped up yet again. And I want folks to understand this. They didn't have to do this, but they did it. And what this means is we're going to keep vital city services open because our employees stepped up to the plate and gave something back. We're going to be able to save city jobs and not add to the unemployment in the city because our public employees stepped up. Now it's time for TWU and the operators at Muni to do the same thing. It is wrong to take a wage increase in this economic environment. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this. It's time for TWU to take the lead of this PEC group, and I want to acknowledge and express my appreciation that representatives from TWU were part of the PEC and participated in it. And I hope they can take that energy and that goodwill and bring it to their membership and get this deal signed. Because if they do, Muni riders will be the beneficiary. We will not have to move forward with these service cuts that the MTA agreed to, at least in total. There still may be some cuts, but not at the full 10%. And so the drivers themselves have the opportunity to look the passengers in the eye and say, you know what, I gave something back. I was due a wage increase that was mine, but I gave that increase back, and I did it in a way that can offset the pain that you're feeling in terms of your own private life and the stresses that you're facing at home, and also that stress that we would have otherwise put upon you by reducing the quality of your service. So this is an opportunity, and I hope the TW will take the moment and step up to the plate. And I mean this sincerely. I expect and hope that they will, and it will be a good thing and the right thing to do. We also have some other labor unions we're working on support and agreements as well, and I expect that they'll also take the lead of the PEC because that's the spirit of this moment where everyone's in it together. Everyone's giving something up. Everybody is also stepping up. And talk about stepping up. Well, we know the federal government, with the great leadership of our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, stepped up to the plate with our president on the federal stimulus. We've talked about the success of programs like Jobs Now. By the way, over 2,500 people now are employed through the Jobs Now program. 1,000 plus members of the African American community have been employed since we initiated this program. That's one of our stimulus programs that's worked. There's over $1 billion of investment that's come to our city, not just the city and county of San Francisco as an entity, but to nonprofits, to the school district and the like. We just had a report that came out that was done by the Inspector General in the state of California, Laura Schick, who found that what we have done has been appropriate. The money is being invested in an appropriate manner through a transparent website. You can go on recoverysf.org and find out exactly where your dollars are going, your federal money is going in terms of the investments we're making in the city. But I was very proud to have received that report this week, and very proud of our city family for stepping up to the plate, doing the right thing with the money. But we have to remain vigilant. I'm not naive, and there are areas where we haven't spent money, and we will be spending money, and we have to show the same kind of judicious consideration of these federal dollars that we've done with other programs like Jobs Now, and make sure we do the same, for example, in programs like this. $400 million of this stimulus went to investing in a new Transbay Terminal. This will mark the fate and future of San Francisco. One of the most iconic and significant projects in our city's history was unveiled this week, the brand new design of the Transbay Terminal. It's about a $1.189 billion project. And we're going to be tearing down the old facility as early as late July or as late as early August of this year. The temporary facility is almost done. We're just doing some what we call punch list items on that. Tear down the old facility, and then between now and hopefully, and I believe this is absolutely doable, 2017, rebuild this new site. It goes on for blocks, 5.4 acre roof. I call it a living roof, but it's a park that's elevated off the street in the downtown area, which will be a park like none you have ever seen. An extraordinary park with an extraordinary design that will have on one end an amphitheater where 1,000 people will enjoy all kinds of festivals and festivities and lectures and entertainment opportunities. On other areas, you'll have this beautiful and iconic arts project where there'll be fountains that actually move. The fountains will literally jet up, water will jet up as the buses underneath move. So you actually will be able to run with the buses as they come into this new terminal. I don't want to get ahead of myself except to say this. This is a significant achievement to get as far as we've gotten. And we would not, again, have gotten this far had it not been for that $400 million contribution that came out of the good work of Speaker Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein and all of us that have been advocating and fighting for this for many, many years, including every member of the Board of Supervisors. So a lot to be thankful for, a lot of work ahead of us. But this project, again, will bring the entire region's transit under one roof, the Grand Central Station on the west coast of the United States, one of the most exciting transit projects ever done in the state of California, arguably this country, and ultimately will be the terminus for the high-speed rail. So that's the spirit of the week. Good work done with our labor unions that have stepped up to the plate. Extraordinary excitement around the new Transbay Terminal. Some validation and vindication for the work we've done in spending your federal money appropriately in terms of the federal stimulus. Celebration with the Jordanian community and those that support the notion of sister cities. And a week where we hope TWU and those that represent the muni operators will recognize the stress that we have put on this system with MTA's new budget as it relates to these service cuts that could substantially be mitigated. And I hope that they won't be, but will be, but substantially will be mitigated if TWU steps up to the plate. So an interesting and, well, I think eventful week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you back in our weekly update. Have a great weekend, everybody.